Great to be back. Welcome to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duggan and Liberty Santiago on Power Talk 1360 KFIV, the show that talks to small business owners about the best ways to practice business in our current day from experienced professionals. We are here every Saturday at 11 a.m. to noon. And this week we have Debbie Sousa with Sousa Insurance visiting us today. Just looking forward to that interview. I have a ton of questions for Debbie today. Liberty, how you doing today?
Doing really good. I'm so excited about this show. The power of a plan.
Yeah.
The plan is where it's all at.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Debbie is located in the McHenry Village off of McHenry Avenue, and I'm actually indebted to Debbie and her employee Jennifer Fortune. They have helped me and my partner and my daughter. We are individually owned and operating different businesses.
Yeah, and your daughter's like 19, right?
Yeah, so she's going to be 20 in October, and she's already an entrepreneur. And so we all don't have any, employer-sponsored health insurance, and my daughter and I haven't had health insurance in years. So, from educating myself with Debbie and Jennifer through our networking club, I learned that insurance is probably more accessible than I thought for business owners. And so I just, put myself out there and asked some questions, and now we have insurance, and the premium is an affordable price. So nice. I absolutely love that. So I'm Liberty Santiago, and I am a business consultant and a mindset trainer, and I'm super excited to continue being a co-host on this show, The Small Business Voice, and helping entrepreneurs on their journey, learning from my mistakes and the mistakes of others, but really showcasing success stories, which is really important and valuable to our community.
Well, speaking of valuable, so you're very valuable to the show.
Oh, thanks, Justin.
And the more so somebody asked me a question the other day. It was Teresa Shepard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I know Teresa.
Yeah, she's going to come in pretty soon, but she was asking me questions about the show. Now, I'm the owner of my business. I own the show, and it's just me.
Yeah.
And she's asking me these questions, and I'm saying, I got to talk to Liberty about this.
That's awesome.
Because it's, you're my right-hand man, and I know, I pay you, not as an employee, but as a consultant. Mm-hmm. But it feels like you're like one of the, like a vice president or something like that. Like I need your input on different things.
Yeah. So you were at the Gold Star meeting last Thursday, right?
I
when Susan Sinford brought up the key person.
Yeah.
That's who I am to you. I'm a key person.
The key person. Yeah.
Yeah. So key person is a term that talks about, somebody in business who, if there were to be a loss of this person, that there would be a substantial recovery period in between, transitioning to put someone else in that place.
It would be a nightmare.
Well, and, funny story is when I stopped being an employee anymore, there was a substantial loss to the business. Yeah. And so I hope to not be replaceable ever. But, I'm always learning and always growing. So it's good to know that you feel I'm your key person. Yeah. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. I want to thank you for all your help.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you watch Super Bowl this last Sunday?
No, I didn't. But I did see like a 10-second clip of the halftime show. And I was like, ooh, yes, this is nice. This is good. Very high quality entertainment. Yeah. Brought me back to the day.
Our producer, Mike Murray, wanted me to come over and sing karaoke during that time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. True story.
What a great invitation.
Yeah, but I don't think he can hear us.
No, he'd probably be shaking his head over here. Oh, goodness. So many local businesses are the heart of what drives our community, and I encourage you to continue to listen to our show on a weekly basis. At the end of each show, we dedicate time to pouring back into the community and announcing some community events that are coming up that are like mixers and good for philanthropy, and it's just all around good resource for people. And, this is the type of stuff that I would be telling my best friend, like, hey, you should be going to this event if you want to grow your business. But, we don't have time to have individual conversations with just everybody in this who's listening right now. So you're doing yourself a service by being here, listening each week, and learning the different options and resources that are out there for small businesses. And I know that's what's grown my business is, hearing from other people these powerful events. Like Gold Star has been instrumental for my business and yours. Oh,
big time. If it wasn't for Gold Star, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Well, yeah, and that's the power of really visualizing. Like you got the idea for this show by being a part of Gold Star, right?
Yeah, Gold Star inspired this show, honestly. Mm-hmm. When I decided to start taking Gold Star seriously and doing one-to-ones and then listening to different people's stories. Mm-hmm. In fact, I talked to Anna Felix and Ron Godey last night.
Oh, good.
And I think you got my draft, but we're going to be featured in a magazine, Progressive or something like that.
Nice.
It's from the Chamber of Commerce.
Modesto Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, Modesto Chamber of Commerce, yeah. And so I wrote the rough draft. Like you said, you're my right-hand man, so I got to have you do the final draft.
I have become quite a writer.
Yes.
Yes.
But I want people to understand, why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. And Ron Godey and Anna Felix are like the top two that come to mind. Chris Nichols is up there too. Mm-hmm. But Ron Godey and Anna Felix, because Anna lost her husband. Mm-hmm. Ron lost his best friend, mm-hmm. and it inspired their business. And I find stories like that fascinating.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why we do what we do. And I was thinking about it on the way over here this morning about, success is not monopolized. There's no reason that, the next person cannot come in and be a successful entrepreneur, give back to the community, bring their skills. There is no such thing as competition when you have an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real message here is that you do you and you have opportunities if you choose to make that decision. Yeah. That's a mindset.
Well, and a good example of that is Amy Blueblock, the mayor of Turlock.
Yes.
That's a woman that puts in a lot of work and
mm-hmm.
takes her job very seriously. And that's what we all want in public service. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she really gets paid for what she does, but it's I know it's not like a governor or a president or something like that. Being a mayor is more like a stepping stone, I believe, to somewhere further up.
I agree with you. I'm not sure what her actual reward is, but I do think that, it's going in a direction and, hopefully people who have heard the show, are realizing that this instrumental person is in our local community and she can make some changes.
Yeah, she's a giver. Big time.
Yeah.
I'm amazed of some of the things that she's done. Especially for brick and mortar small businesses.
Yeah, I love that she focuses on the small business.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's a woman after my heart.
and that's really a testament to there is a huge platform for businesses to collaborate with government and to be a success.
Yeah.
And something we can talk about more on a future show is government contracting for small businesses. I've been doing lots of research on this lately, and I hope to bring some more resources, some tangible, who can we reach out to? How can we actually make this happen? So this is the reason that you will want to continue to listen to the show is because it's not going to just be an idea. It's going to be like the real deal. Keep listening.
I look forward to it. So when we come back, we're going to talk with Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance, a local health insurance agency. And this is the Small Business Voice with Justin Dunn and Liberty Santiago. Connect with us on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com and libertybrand.biz. And stay with us on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Liberty Santiago on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. And we are here with Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance, a local health insurance agency. Connect with us on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com and libertybrand.biz. And send a message on our Facebook page and click like on Small Business Voice Media and tell us what you like Liberty and I discuss on a future show. Which, Liberty, I'll let you know, we got some engagement yesterday, by the way.
I noticed.
Yes,
Man.
yes, we did.
Lots of people are interested in coming on the show, and that is such a good sign for 2022.
Yeah, next time I'll tag you in that. I don't think I tagged you in it, but we got some good feedback. I was happy with what happened.
We got some good traction.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So we have Debbie with us today with Sousa Insurance, and she is a local health insurance agency. And, Debbie, I have a little confession to make. I want to quit my job.
Okay.
So, but the thing is,
Does your employer know that already?
well, no, not yet.
They will now.
But they might know
They
now.
know now.
Yeah. But we have to have insurance now, or we get a fine by the state of California. So it's going to be about maybe 6 months before I quit my job. That's my goal. When should I start shopping around for insurance?
So you can't enroll until about the time that when your coverage is going to end. And I
Okay.
can say this because my husband quit a job just recently, and I started shopping around about 30 days in advance, 45 days in advance, only because we were at the first of the year and the coverage rates changed.
Okay.
For January 1st. But as far as shopping and looking at, what are we going to qualify for? Where are we going to be at income-wise so we can look at covered California? If I'm going to be in my own business, will I be able to start a group plan? Because am I going to have employees? Am I not going to have any staff? Am I going to be just fully, on my own for a while? Then those things come into play as to what marketplace you want to be in. If you're a family and it's just going to be you for a little bit, covered California is probably going to be your least expensive option because you'll get some assistance through the federal and state subsidies.
Okay. And then if that's the cheapest one, is the kind of insurance making, is it like an 80-20 plan where I have to pick up 20% of what's not covered?
Gosh.
Or
No, there's tons and tons of options. So just like across the board, most of our employers, they offer the metal tiers. So you have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Okay.
That is the same within covered California.
Nice. Okay.
And so you can choose the higher the deductible, the lower that you're going to pay on a monthly basis. But then you have to expect that you're going to pay more out-of-pocket expenses. The lower the deductible, the higher your monthly premium will be. But then if you have ongoing medical stuff, your out-of-pocket expenses there are lower.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the premise. I hate to say it because it sounds so awful, but you're really going to pay on the front side or on the back side.
Yeah, they got you either way.
Right. And it's a gamble.
Yeah.
I can say, it's a gamble if you say, I'm really, really healthy, so I'm going to take that bronze and, hardly pay anything, and I'm going to skate through the year, and then something happens, and all of a sudden you've had to utilize your $6,000 deductible.
Yeah.
It's a risk that we take.
Unless, of course, we qualify for that subsidy, right? And then we can have the higher coverage and maybe no or very low premiums. Is that right?
That is correct. I can say we, just for my family, we looked at what we earned last year and kind of, predict where we'll be for the upcoming year. And, in doing that, we qualified, and I'm not embarrassed or shy to say, we qualified for a nice silver enhanced plan for $20 a month.
Oh, nice.
So I have members who are qualifying at no cost per month because not only did they get the federal subsidy, but if you got the maximum federal subsidy and there was still premium owing, the state kicked in $1 for every member, and some of that came out of some of the COVID response money that the state received.
Okay. Wow. So we're talking with Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance, and she has a local health insurance agency. And Debbie can be contacted at 209-872-2025 or by visiting her on the web, sousainsurance.com. That's SOUSAINS.com. And I'm here at Liberty Santiago on Power Talk 1360, and you're listening to the Small Business Voice. Liberty said the other day that I look like I'm the pillar of health. So Debbie's rolling her eyes at me, Liberty. It's
is she?
No, well, okay. So in all seriousness, I'm 6'1", I'm 300 pounds, and I'm getting older. So I know I'm kind of I need to start changing some of my habits. Yeah. So will that go against me if I need to apply for insurance?
No, the Affordable Care Act, one of the things that came to play with that several years ago was that you could not be declined or rated up as far as your cost and premium based on pre-existing medical conditions, based on your body mass index or height, weight. All of that went away. So the only thing that is in play is your age.
Oh, okay.
And so what we see is that it's gotten more expensive for some of our older folks.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot more expensive for some of our younger folks. An 18 to 25-year-old used to get a plan for $100, and now we're seeing those folks paying twice that much because they are kind of offsetting some of the costs. Because the premise of insurance is you spread it amongst the masses. They're offsetting some of the costs for some of our older folks, people like me.
Well, you're in your 30s, though, aren't you?
Exactly.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Nice save, Justin.
Thank you, Liberty.
I'll tell you, the other day, I was talking to somebody who wanted to use some of my business services, and the topic of age came up, and I should have immediately known to just stop, pivot the conversation immediately, because I'm not a good judgment of age, and I guessed wrong, above by like 4 years, and it was like, oh my gosh, I was like, please just forget I said that.
Well, you know what? In all honesty, when we first met on Zoom, I'm just going to use Zoom's the fall guy here.
Yeah.
I put my foot in my mouth, and I guessed you're my age, and you said no, and turns out you're like 12 years younger than I am.
Well, yeah. And it's, I don't think it's a bad thing to guess somebody's age as being more, because I don't think I look older, but I think my spirit, my spirit is definitely older, more mature.
Yeah, your spirit's older, but you're in a younger version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel 25.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's as long as we feel.
Yeah.
My best friends are the people who ask me for ID at the grocery store.
Yes, exactly. When you show up with your kids like, in tow, and they're like, ma'am, can I have your ID? Well, yes, you can.
So I have on here Cadillac Insurance, 'cause I think that's what it used to be called. But you said now it's bronze, silver, gold. And then platinum.
Platinum is the top. One of the things that I kind of explain to people is not looking at those metal tiers as important as looking at the out-of-pocket maximum.
Okay.
Because the out-of-pocket maximum, bronze, silver, and gold, is about the same.
Oh, okay.
So in the grand scheme of things, what you're really looking at is, what is my expectation if I have a catastrophic medical event?
Yeah.
And of the worst case scenario, what could I in any given year be expected to spend as my out of pocket? So those are the things that we look at. And sometimes I tell people, are you willing to spend an extra $2,000 in the year to save $2,600? Because that's really,
yeah.
Are you really saving as much?
Yeah.
You can spend a little bit less. You're still going to be out the same amount of money at the end of a year if you have a bad year.
Yeah.
So you could spend a little less, maybe buy down to the silver plan and not necessarily the gold. And maybe your co-payments for doctor's office visits are only $10 more. And if you're not seeing a doctor, a whole bunch of times, you're still going to come out financially better But in the event that you had I use my brother as a very prime example because he had a very massive heart attack a year ago, and unexpectedly, a pillar of what he thought was health, but a lot of lifestyle changes, and an out-of-pocket maximum of $4,000 from January to December.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come out of pocket with another dime.
Oh, wow.
For his health care. That included his prescriptions and everything.
Debbie is here with Sousa Insurance, and she can be reached at 209-872-2025, and she is our local health insurance agency. And remember to share about our show, The Small Business Voice, with your friends and family. Also, you can follow us along on our Instagram page for updates and what's coming up next. You're listening to The Small Business Voice. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance. And I just absolutely love having small business, women-owned small business owners here. So thank you so much to Debbie for being on the show. And stay with us. You're listening on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
Pop, pop, it's showtime. 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 Guess who's back again?
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Liberty Santiago and Justin Duncan. You're listening on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. We're here today with women-owned small business owner Debbie Sousa. She owns the Sousa Insurance, which is a local health insurance agency which is located inside of the McHenry Village off McHenry Avenue in Modesto. Debbie can be contacted at 209-872-2025, or you can visit her on the web, sousains.com. Be sure to connect with us, the Small Business Voice, on smallbusinessvoicemedia.com or libertybrand.biz. Send us a message on our Facebook page, and don't forget to click the like button and tell us what you'd like Justin and I to discuss on a future show. Thank you so much, Debbie, for joining us today. And if Debbie's voice sounds familiar, she is a repeat guest of ours. Yay. And I feel super honored to have you back again. Thank you so much. Not to be super political, but I am interested with all of your experience in healthcare. Do you feel that our government involvement is helping or hurting consumers and business owners?
I would say 10 years ago, when the Affordable Care Act was coming and there was so much discussion about this national healthcare system, we, from an insurance standpoint, were adamant, absolutely not. We don't want that. It's going to take away our jobs. It has actually created more work for me than I've ever had. The government can dictate how the health care is delivered, but they don't know health insurance. They don't know our providers. They don't know our the intricacies of health insurance and how it is impacted with individuals. So what has happened is it has given us an actual larger role in helping our local consumers. And that has been, we now work more intimately, I think, with people because we're helping them navigate their health care.
What a great service to the community. I just have to say, coming from adversity in my life and having been on WIC for a period of time and having to, get government assistance, those government I'd say employees are not always the easiest to deal with. And I have actually my own story with working with Jennifer Fortune, one of your employees. And I have to say she's been super helpful in getting me and my family enrolled back in healthcare after I have had no health insurance for like 4 or 5 years now, believe it or not. But it's really refreshing having somebody who, isn't part of the government system, but is helping us to get, what type of insurance we need with whatever subsidy we do qualify for. I enjoy having that third party, go-to person in between.
So, Debbie, I saw an ad the other day on TV for government price setting for medications. This is my opinion, but for me, it's like when the government gets involved, it's usually not a good thing. But
Exactly.
so, can you elaborate on that?
From my standpoint, I don't necessarily think that there's ever a time where government has got involved that has actually positively impacted our health plans. The point that I think makes sense is that there is got to be some control on the pharmaceutical side, because the pricing that the pharmaceutical side is probably one of the biggest areas that impacts the rates. As long as the costs of the medications are so high. I'm waiting for a referral right now for a medication that I personally take that it's $300 or $400 a month. And I have, my like I discussed, my brother and his situation. He's been on a medication for a year that's more than $1,000 a month. My mom had multiple sclerosis. Yeah, she was on a medication that the pharmaceutical company issued you a credit card. The medication was $10,000 a month, and she was putting it on a credit card that they issued each month.
Jeez, wow. I'm shocked. I don't even know what to say to that. That's just
well, I mean,
shocking.
I have experience in medical and dental billing, and and from what I see, there really needs to be a usual and customary rate, and when we can get something to be affordable, that's really important, because I don't agree with there being some sort of scale like the rich people or middle class are the only ones that get to live comfortably and have the medication that they need. I don't think that's acceptable or appropriate, and I think that there's absolutely a way to bring these rates down and take a look at, have somebody, a third party, look at how much does it cost to produce this medication, not how much it's we're charging people, but what is the actual cost.
Well, and I agree with you right there, because from what I heard, it's pennies for to do the medication. I mean,
the production part is not what they're trying to pay for. It's the advertising, it's the research and development ahead of time. Yeah. So when a medication first gets released, they hold a patent for that medication for it's a number of years. And so during that time, the price is really high because they're trying to recoup all that went into getting it FDA approved. Then once that patent expires, then it blows out and everyone can manufacture it. The formula is there. Everyone can manufacture it, and then all of a sudden the price drops to pennies on the dollar. Yeah. So the original manufacturer is trying to recoup what they spent in the front side.
Wow. So, and then the commercials that we see on TV, they're not allowed like in Europe or other places, aren't they?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
No. They're not.
Yeah.
No, and a lot of these medications become available at a much lower cost in other countries far before they are available here in the United States, and that's a lot of, again, government regulation. Yeah. I'm not being political, though.
No, we're not. Well, we're not a political show, but
we can have opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Opinions are healthy, and everybody has them, so we might as well just tell people what our opinions are.
Exactly.
I mean, and I can say from my own standpoint, I just recently had a surgery, and I started the bills have started coming in, and Jennifer in my office. Yes, she is wonderful, and she comes with 2 decades of medical billing experience. So we're looking at over my 8-hour outpatient surgery was more than $140,000.
Oh. That's insane.
And my insurance company wrote off everything except for about $8,000 of it. How does the hospital justify $140,000, but they're accepting payment from this insurance company for $8,000? It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work my way through it, even though this is what I've been doing for 2 decades. So I get where it's confusing for other people. And that's why we try to offer that service to help walk through those things for people.
Well, and then if you have to stay in a hospital too, if you actually look at your bill, like the cost of a tissue is like $25. The cost of a Tylenol is
When I first started in the healthcare industry, I actually worked in a hospital, and we used to pull these little yellow tags off of every. If you gave a person lotion, you pulled the tag and put it on a card, and that went to Central Supply, and they input it. And that's how you got charged. Those $50 aspirin, they bill those high rates. And if you don't have insurance, they're going to bill it to you. They're going to soft collect. And if they don't collect it, these large corporations, these large hospitals, they write it off as uncollectible debt. And that's tax credit for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's how they reduce their bottom line.
Yeah.
Then
they'll also sell it to a collection agency too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And one after the other, they sell it to multiple so that that's how they recoup some of the money as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely. It can feel overwhelming, but what I really want to know, in closing here is, what is your advice for somebody who's afraid to start a business because they're fearing losing health care benefits?
I think that, having a good business plan is, I left an employer after a dozen years, and I'm not sure that I actually had a real written business plan, but I had a good idea because I had enough years in the industry to step aside and move forward. I think having a business plan, how are we going to grow, slow, steady. Are we, going to spend ahead? I have, really tried not to, and I've so far, knock on wood, it's been very good, to continue to operate my business without any debt. And I think that's most important for people, is to don't mortgage your house, don't put something on the line until you really see that this is really what what you're going to be able to do. If you get a year into it and you're not able to, and you're able to go to in the same line of work and be employed by somebody else, you would have those opportunities. Looking at health insurance, with all the opportunities that are available to us through the exchange programs, there's no reason to have that to be a barrier to starting your own business.
Because it's a lot simpler than what
it is. Much simpler than we believe.
Absolutely. My entire household is entrepreneurs. My daughter, myself, and my partner, and we all now have health insurance. And at this moment in time, we don't have a premium. Does that mean it's always going to be that way? No. But when our businesses grow and when our income grows, we will be able to afford more of a premium. So there's a time and a place, and the best time to figure this out is to set aside that time and call Debbie Sousa and Jennifer Fortune at Sousa Insurance. And they are our local health insurance agency, and they have the community's heart in mind.
They sure do.
Thank you so much, Debbie, for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me again.
Well, I really did enjoy getting to know you better, and I feel confident in my decision to trust you to take our community's interests in mind and help them with their health insurance needs. So again, for myself and Justin and all of our listeners, thank you so much for being here. Debbie can be contacted at 209-872-2025. And don't forget to visit her on the web, SousaINS.com. When we come back, we will have our community corner and mindset tips from myself, Liberty Santiago. You're listening to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and myself. Check us out on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com, and see what we're working on for you. Stay with us on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
Last night I dreamt of San Pedro.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Liberty Santiago on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Connect with us on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com and libertybrand.biz. When are you going to change that to Liberty Brands? So I want to thank our guest today, Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance, and that's your local health insurance agency. Don't forget to visit her on the web at sousains.com. I'm going to spell that out, SOUSAINS.com. Because when I heard it in my head, I think I said Susan. So I want to spell that out.
You said Sousa, but
Okay.
it's good to spell it out because sometimes Sousa is spelled with a Z, and then, INS in this instance is abbreviated. So, yeah, make sure you hit her up on the web, Sousa, SOUSAINS.com.
Yeah, so, and then connect with us on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com and libertybrand.biz. Send us a message on our Facebook page and click the like button on Small Business Voice Media and tell us what you and Liberty would like us to discuss on a future show. One of the reasons why I like having guests on the show, I feel we're a guest-driven show. So if you're somebody out there that does not have insurance but needs insurance, I want them to call Debbie, like ASAP and say, hey, it's time I get this done right.
Yeah, and when I actually used their office, it was very personal and warm, and I got taken care of within just, maybe 30, 45 minutes. Jennifer Fortune is one of the employees there, and she's just absolutely amazing. I have to say she's probably more than an employee. She's family, yeah. And it's just, there's just so many questions when you start this application process, and, it's not something that I typically want to just do online, So this is a great way to have somebody who you can text, call, and, just have your back. So it's really good. So I understand we have some community announcements.
Yes, we do. We have Gold Star Referral Clubs, regional meetings. They are held each week. Go to meetup.com for listing and details. I am cross-clubbing tomorrow. I'll actually be at the morning. Well, not tomorrow. I'm sorry, next week. But I'll be at a few. So yeah, if you want to go to our Facebook page and say, hey, are you going to go to this one? I'll say, yeah, I'll be there, or no, I will not be.
Yeah.
But Liberty and I go to Downtown Connections. We are always there Thursdays at noon over at Skewers, and I love Skewers.
It's good.
And, good food, good people. Let's see. We also have the Holistic Chamber of Commerce meeting the third Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Round Table Pizza at 3848 McHenry Avenue, and that is in the Walmart Shopping Center. We also have Turlock Young Professionals. They gather the fourth Thursday of each month at the Grand Cru on Main Street in Turlock. The next meeting is this coming Thursday, February 24th.
And that's 4:30 to 6 p.m.
Yeah, at the Grand Cru, right? All right. We also have a special event, Modesto Small Business Funding Expo. That's the 24th also. That's at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.
It's actually March 24th. So you have a whole nother month to prepare 24th. For that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. And that's at Papa Bellini, 2501 McHenry Avenue. And I don't know. Oh, that's got like the big room and everything. I know where that's at.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but this is an in-person event, so it's from 8 to 11, and it's free. And I think that's great. And
I've actually gone to watch stand-up comedy there in the past.
Oh.
Yeah, so they have like a huge banquet room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, when I was looking at this event online, they can take quite a few people. So
yeah,
they're going to have the Small Business Association, Valley First Credit Union, Access Plus, Capital, and Wells Fargo. And so they're going to teach small business owners how to access capital from these different funding sources.
All right.
So today I'm going to bring you some information about mentorship. And this is really a tribute to my late mentor, Bob Proctor. And if you don't know who Bob Proctor is, I highly suggest that you take the time to research him and understand what a long and meaningful life he had. But it didn't start out prosperous. And this is, really something that we do here on the show is we talk about success stories. Yeah. And I want to point out that Bob Proctor did not even graduate high school. And he turned his life around at the age of 26, and he's learned how to make millions based on mopping floors.
So you said the late Bob Proctor, or your late mentor, did he pass away?
He did.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I've never felt like super close to, I guess, celebrity figures, but I learned so much from him. He changed my life. I've been studying him avidly for the last 3 years. I'm a Bob Proctor consultant. I'm one of about 3,000 worldwide consultants who actively pursue teaching his, his legacy.
Yeah.
And so, he had over a century worth of his life was dedicated to helping others, with their mindset and human potential.
Well, we'll have to, at another time, we'll have to do a show about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see you getting teared up. So,
he's amazing. So, you can find his hit movie The Secret on Netflix, and you can find him all over YouTube. I highly suggest you guys start there. But I want to give you my top 3 teachings from what I learned under his wing. Number 1 is visualizing your goals. Putting yourself in the moment where you believe in your mind that your goal has already been achieved. And number 2 is the law of prosperity is generosity. If you want more, give more. Number 3, this is the most life-changing one that I learned from him, is the only limits that we have in life are the ones that we have placed in our minds. And once I started imagining myself outside of the labels that I had come to know, I started asking myself more questions. And I started believing that I had no limits. And this is where I turned my life around and stopped being an employee. And then I'm going to leave you with this inspiring quote before we close out. And this, of course, is by Bob Proctor. Thoughts become things. If you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
So what questions do you have for us to ask, or what wisdom do you have to share? Be sure to leave a comment on our Facebook page, Small Business Voice Media, and check our website. And email us at smallbusinessvoicemedia@gmail.com. Connect with us on the web, smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. And I want to thank our guest today, Debbie Sousa, owner of Sousa Insurance, your local health insurance agency. Don't forget to visit her on the web at sousains.com. I'm Justin Duncan with the Small Business Voice. I want to thank you for listening each week, and encourage you to reach out to us if you want to come on the show. It's easy. I'll go over the details with you. We love our guests. The messages on the Facebook page were, hey, what's it take to be a guest? It's simple. So
yes. And we love highlighting and exposing what makes your business different and promoting you. It's what we do.
It's what we do, yes.
It's what we do. Special thanks to our listeners for tuning in each week. We feel your support, and we look forward to bringing you even more valuable content next week.
Now let's take care of business.
Now where'd you get that platinum chain with them diamonds in it? Where'd you get that